Now, how about them damn Celtics?
And we are back, another episode of How About Them Celtics. Sam and I are here recording on Monday, January 27th, talking about the Celtics because, well, it's the name of the show, so that's what we talk about. How you doing, Sam?
Doing okay. We're back after a couple days of being absent. I don't like having to miss the show, but sometimes work will get you. So happy to be back. Happy to be going to the game tonight. Fun show ahead. We're going to recap the game, go through some little trickling rumors about the sale, go through the NBA standings, update you with some rumors from around the league. And then, of course, we're going to go through the rat list. That's what we do here. So leave a like, subscribe, comment, tell us what you thought of Celtics Rockets. And hit the bell because we're here every single day. Jack and I drop new content at 5 a.m. Full pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game. And other videos are up on the channel in between.
Yes, sir. Let's just jump right into it. Let's go to Celtics Rockets right now. All right, we are here after the Celtics 114-112 loss to the Houston Rockets. Went down to the wire. Monster games for Dillon Brooks and Thompson. Blown lead in the fourth quarter for the Celtics. Just a crazy game, really good game, really objectively entertaining game.
Fun game.
But Celtic did not come out on top. Again, 114-112 loss for Boston.
Yeah, pretty annoying. It wasn't annoying in real time because you kind of didn't realize it was happening until it happened. Celtics looked like they had figured it out earlier in the fourth quarter. They went up 12, looked really sharp coming out after a kind of weird game where it was back and forth, couldn't really get out of their own way. They would take a lead, then they'd give up a run, wouldn't be able to get in the early minutes of the fourth. And then they do this thing they did all game, and they couldn't get any stops, and they couldn't put the ball in the basket. And then they really couldn't get stops at the end. They weren't even close. It was, hey, here's a free dunk. Hey, here's a wide open layup right in front of the rim. And the way that they got to that position was just the most frustrating part. Because if you go on Twitter and you find the clip of the Thompson game winner, which was a good play by him, credit to him, got to his spot, changed speeds, got Jaylen off him, got a great look. Jaylen is out of position right at the beginning of the play because the Celtics see something in the matchups that they wanted to switch, but they do it too late to where he has to sprint over to Thompson. And by the time he gets to where he's trying to go, Thompson's already by him. Once Jaylen's beat, Luke Cornett is very slow to help over from the strong side. And then Tatum is right next to Thompson as he puts the shot up and doesn't even try and contest it. Maybe he's afraid to foul, but just a bizarre way to end the game. And mind you, the possession before on defense, they let up a wide open Şengün dunk because Cornett gets beat on a cut real bad. Just bizarre. Terrible way to lose. Same shit, different way, different day in the fourth quarter. They've been awful in the fourth quarter. Over the last 15 games, they have a negative 5.7 net rating in the fourth. I'm sure it's worse if you open the span even more. They've been in the bottom third. They haven't been a good fourth quarter team, and that won't fly when the playoffs come around. But we don't have to harp on that at this moment.
I saw a lot of people on Twitter. Talking about the final play with Jaylen and Luke, and dogging those two guys. And I think it missed on the broadcast that Joe Mazzulla was screaming at them to switch on that play. It was Joe saying, you guys need to switch. And it happened too late. They reacted too late. He started it too late. And by the time they switched, it was all messed up. And Joe Mazzulla took blame for it after the game. He said, that's on me 100%. Those last two plays are on me. But it was just a tough last couple plays and frustrating because I thought they looked pretty good, like you said, at the start of the fourth quarter. Obviously, the offense kind of went to shit late in the fourth. I didn't think Jaylen had a very good fourth quarter. I think he struggled at times to generate offense. He forced it for sure. Things just weren't flowing right. I think underlying factor, Kristaps having 5 fouls made him a bit less aggressive on both ends. So I think he was a little hesitant, at least more so than he normally would be. And then Amen Thompson had a monster game. And listen, I asked about it after the game. It's the most obvious thing ever. Dillon Brooks hit 10 threes. And I know before this game and on podcasts before this game, we've talked about how frustrating it is to be like, oh, I hate that it just comes down to threes. Dude hits 10 threes. It's going to be a tough night.
It's less about the frustration for me with the threes comes more on the offensive end where it's like, well, we can't make our threes. What do you want out of us? I detest the leave the guy. Yeah, they were fine today. I detest the leave the guy open because we think he can't shoot strategy, because mostly everybody in the NBA can shoot them to some degree, unless it's Ben Simmons, who will not shoot them, refuses to shoot them. Dillon Brooks making 10 threes is outrageous. No getting around it. Hilarious, like, post game from Tatum, in my opinion, like, clearly just dumbfounded that happened. He was like, he mentioned it like 2 or 3 times. Granted, he was asked about, like, you asked him about it kind of along the lines of that, but he had like a smirk on his face. Like, it was clear that he was like, wow, I really can't believe that is the guy that killed us today. And while, like, what happened today is unprecedented, and the Celtics only lost by 2, like, you had 2 guys get career highs for the Rockets. Jaylen Brown told you, like, this was by design. They took Van Vliet out. They took Şengün out. They even took, Jalen Green out. Like, none of those guys had a great game. They all combined to score less points than either of the other 2 guys. They combined for 30 between the 3 of them. Thompson had 33. Brooks had 36. Fine. But also, you cannot just be married to the we think this guy sucks strategy.
Well, I would have to watch it over, and we can watch some of them now. I don't actually think they left Dillon Brooks, Caleb Martin open.
No, they didn't. They didn't. But I
Yeah.
think at the beginning of the game, the plan was to do so, and then he made a couple, and he
Similar.
started feeling himself.
I'm gonna pull it up. We don't have to like talk about everyone, but like as we're talking about this, I'm just gonna have it on so we can reference
Okay.
For the sake of it, because I really didn't feel like it was as bad. Like, I think they truly are adjusting to, you want to take certain guys out of the game, and so we're going to prioritize guarding certain guys. Like Dillon Brooks' first 3 of the game, it's in transition, so Kristaps going to the paint, gets out, contests a little bit. I truly think the Celtics had done a lot better. They doubled Şengün a lot. They tried to take him out of the game. They tried to take Van Vliet out of the game. They tried to take Jalen Green out of the game. They, like you said, they did a pretty good job of that. And that leaves Dillon Brooks as your offensive engine. He's shooting 41% this season. Like, it's hard. And all these threes that we're watching are, yes, they're prioritizing other things, but they're getting late contests off, like on almost all these threes. Obviously a couple of them are more open than you might want, but like, most of these threes are the Celtics getting a contest that would usually mean Dillon Brooks isn't going to drain 10 threes in your face. Like, it's at some point, it's like, shit, man, what do you want us to do? And I mean, it came down to the last couple of possessions that, like, I'm not going to sit here and say they couldn't have won this game. They were screwed because Dillon Brooks hit 10 threes. But, a la Doc Rivers in the 23 playoffs, you look at the math in this game, the shots they're supposed to make, the shots the Celtics are supposed to make, the Celtics probably should have won the game. Like, it's hard. That said, that doesn't take away from the fact that they executed poorly in the last couple seconds. Doesn't take away from the fact that Jaylen Brown's offense in the fourth quarter was pretty awful. Doesn't take away from all the other things they did wrong. They had 14 turnovers, I think, in this game. Like, there are plenty of other things they did wrong. However, I'm not looking at these threes, and I'm not looking at Dillon Brooks' performance and say, oh my God, they just let him kill them. Like, outside of, we just saw one where they left him pretty open. Like, I think they played solid enough defense while also prioritizing other things. And Dillon Brooks just had the best game of his career.
Dillon Brooks, hilarious. Like, people are going to be watching this mad at him. Hilarious character. Guys talking shit the whole time, screaming at the crowd, going at Jalen. Gets Kristaps into a tech, which was an awesome play. Like, Kristaps does the putback, bumps him. But, like, clearly Brooks is so much of an irritant that Porzingis wanted to go out of his way to bump him after a big dunk. Credit to him. He had an incredible game. The Celtics, they recovered well. They adjusted well, but the guy was on a heater. It doesn't erase the things that you mentioned. The late game execution, bad again, rears its ugly head.
Hold on.
What?
Sorry. Watch Jalen on this 3. Dillon Brooks nails a 3 that Jalen contests pretty well. And Jaylen Brown looks back just like there's no fucking way this guy is making threes. Watch this. Watch Jalen's face. Jalen gets a hand up. Camera pans to Dillon Brooks, and Jaylen Brown is just like, all right, buddy.
That's a la the
Ridiculous.
Kemba smile. When Kemba would smile, and people would be like, why are you smiling? They're losing. How can you be happy? How can you be laughing? Just, I mean, they just continue to be putrid when the game's on the line. All of the trust that they built up in those situations last year is gone now. I don't think you as a fan should be able to watch this team in a close game and feel good anymore because they haven't shown you a reason to do so. It's not like last year. Last year, if they played like this last year in the playoffs, they would have lost in the conference finals. They would have lost all of the close games. The only game they would have won that series would be game 2. They would have lost game 1. They would have lost game 3. They would have lost game 4. The execution, the poise is not there. They're not making good decisions. You mentioned Jaylen. Jaylen forced 3 bad looks. One of them he was lucky to get fouled on, which was actually borderline not good because I was thinking he was going to miss from the free throw line. Makes them both. Credit to him. Brass balls.
Yeah.
What was that? Like, that was such a strange sequence at the end of the game for him to, like, just continuously be the guy. When Tatum had a good fourth quarter, he was the only guy. He was 2 of 2 over that last 8 minutes or so. It was Tatum and Porzingis didn't miss. The rest of the guys barely did anything. They were brutal over that. Drew was 1 of 5. Jaylen wasn't very good, and I don't even know if Luke shot. Pritchard was decent.
I mean, this was another why the hell didn't you give the ball to Pritchard more game, in my opinion. Dude shot 5 of 7 from the field, 5 of 6 from 3 at 15 points. Well, I don't know if he took a shot in the fourth quarter. Did he take a shot in the fourth quarter? He was 2 of 3. Yeah, okay, so he did. So, but listen, I don't know. Weird game. Good game. Like, fun, objectively fun game. Unfortunately, the result, but it was a fun game.
Amen
Thompson is...
I'm thinking about it now. I have the box score up next to me. Sorry. Jaylen took 23 shots in this game. Jaylen was excellent to start this game. Came out in the first quarter red hot, making the middies, making some threes, just looked dialed in. Him and Kristaps both were cooking early. Have we reached a point now where Jaylen being hot early in a game is almost a bad thing because then he just feels like he's got it the whole day?
So Jaylen first 3 quarters, 24 points, 9 of 17, 3 of 6. Jaylen fourth quarter, 4 points, 1 of 6, 0 of 3 from 3. So by that math, maybe very, very possible.
Because I think he's really fun to watch when he's playing well. I think he's important to this team. Like, I'm not saying they should ice Jaylen out, but this is just a strange game with the way the shots were distributed where Jaylen had 9 more than Tatum, who was the only other guy in double figures in terms of shot attempts. That's it. 2 guys that took more than 10 in this game. And you mentioned it, like, there were guys in this game that played good. Porzingis, 6 of 8. Luke, 8 of 9. Not that you really are like, go ahead, Luke, go to work. But
Luke was good, though.
5 of 7.
Yep. Also, speaking to you as a general, I don't want to call you a Tatum hater, but you are very, very critical of Mr.
skeptic.
Tatum.
Yeah, I'm critical.
Jason Tatum played 12 minutes, all 12 minutes of the fourth quarter. He took 2 shots.
And he made them both. And one of them was a great take with the game on the line.
Like, listen, I know Jaylen was hot. There's got to be a line where you're like, okay, let's. And I know all of last season, everyone was like, please give it to someone else. This is why you don't. This is why you put the ball in Jason Tatum's hand. And I'm sorry. Like, I know you're making that face. He didn't have an assist either. Like, this wasn't like, oh, at least he was like they took the ball out of his hands. Like Jason, I'd love to see like how many like hockey assists or anything else. Like, I'd love to rewatch the fourth quarter to see how many possessions. But like, I mean, you felt it late in the game. Jaylen Brown called his number over and over and over and over, and it didn't work. It like very clearly did not work. Drew Holiday 1 of 5 as well, and I mean, Tatum probably would have had more assists if some guys made some shots, but like 2 shots when he's having a great second half. Like Jason Tatum in the first half was, 0 of 5 from the field. He was awful, terrible in the first half. Second half, third quarter, I should say. Third quarter, Jason Tatum had 15 points, 3 of 7, 1 of 3, but 8 of 8 from the free throw line. Just bullied his way into the paint. Also had 2 assists. Like, maybe give that guy the ball a little bit more.
Also, like, I think where you really missed the Tatum decision-making was when Jaylen decided it was his turn. Because the Celtics shot abysmal once they were up 12 in the fourth. No getting around it. If you pull up the adjusted box score, it'll tell you that. I actually think I might still have it up. I can tell you exactly what they shot. Yep. Okay, so once they went up by 12, Tatum 2 of 2, Porzingis 1 of 1, Luke 1 of 1, Jaylen 0 for 5, Drew 1 of 5, Peyton Pritchard 0 of 1. Those shots, a lot of them were still decent shots, except for the Jaylen ones. The Jaylen ones were pretty forced, and that's, 3 possessions at the end of the game where they kind of left it on the board. They could have got something better. There were a few head scratchers there. I think there was one he fired something up early in the shot clock, and all of us up top were like, what is going on here?
Yeah. It's rough, man. Quickly, before we jump into the rest of the show, I do need to tell you guys about PrizePicks, because PrizePicks is the best place to get your action. And for the big game, Sam, Patrick Mahomes only needs 1 passing yard for you to win 1 square of the promotion they are running. Philly versus Kansas City. Questions that they're offering for this PrizePicks action here. Saquon, will he rush for more than 112.5 rushing yards? Will Jalen Hurts pass for more than 215.5? Travis Kelce, more than 62.5? Xavier Worthy, more than 56.5 receiving yards? I mean, I don't know how much you've been paying attention to the playoffs, but Saquon Barkley has been kind of God. So I think I'd probably go with some Saquon Barkley action if I was looking at PrizePicks myself. That said, Sam and I have used PrizePicks a bunch of times. We are not the best at it, admittedly. We try our best. Maybe we need to bring it back in the pregame, rejuice up the luck a little bit. But make sure to download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you pay your first $5 lineup. Again, download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, run your game. Anyways, back to this game. It's just, it was so weird because, like you said, Jaylen Brown was so good the first 3 quarters and then just completely flipped. Like, him and Drew Holiday were minus 12 each. Jason Tatum was a plus 11. Jaden Springer also plus 11, to your credit, Sam.
He played. I thought he was pretty good.
It's just
seriously.
I think he was. No, he was.
Unironically, I was surprised that he wasn't out there for the final defensive possession. Not even like trying to be smart or like funny. Like, he played good defense. He was hounding guys. Like, he was a big part of why Jalen Green wasn't involved during the minutes that he was out there. He was picking him up right at half court. Guy couldn't get past the lucky logo without having to give the ball up. I was shocked that they elected to keep him out of the game. It didn't make a lot of sense to me. That last possession, that's it. Obviously, you don't want him out there for the offensive possessions. But he did make a 3. He made a big 3 to tie the game or go up by 3. So credit to him.
Yeah, I'll also say, doubling back on the Tatum thing, the Rockets did make it, like, they doubled Tatum every time they got the ball. So it was hard for him to get shots. Like, they sent an insane amount of pressure. So I'll retract my statement a little bit, but I still think you got to find him. Drew didn't shoot super well, but I thought he was actually all right in this game. He had 3 of 9, 2 of 6, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. I thought he made a pretty positive impact. No Derek White, no Sam Hauser, no Al Horford. I mean, really hurt you in this game. But Luke Cornett stepped up, played pretty good. But what a weird lineups game this was, man. They tried a million different lineups, and I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was, them just trying to see who was hot that day. I don't know if it was trying to test things out. They threw Drew Peterson in there for a little bit late in the third. He didn't do much. He missed a wide open corner 3. They missed a lot of good looks late in the third and in the fourth. Jordan Walsh got in, missed a corner 3. He was fine. Jaden Springer played pretty good. He was 1 of 3 from 3, shot 3 threes in 7 minutes, which is a testament to how open he is. I thought Nimi was all right. A couple turnovers, whatever. Played 19 minutes. He was fine. Tillman was horrendous. He's just
one of the first subs off the bench today too, Jack.
Yeah. He was the first sub, him and Nimi. And we don't have to talk about it.
I wish you guys could see the reactions of Jack and I when our guys do anything in these games, because watching Jack watch Tillman miss open threes is hilarious. And Jack burst out laughing when Springer made his 3.
At least he takes them.
I turned into the gif of KG screaming on the bench in the suit. I was like,
I would
that's
rather
right.
Tillman miss 100 threes than not take them.
Mm.
I stand on it. Like, please. He should have shot 5 in this game, and he shot 2. Anyways, weird game for the Celtics. I thought they were pretty good. I don't know, man. It's so interesting.
9th fourth quarter lead blown this year. Same amount as last
Wow.
year.
Sean Grandy had a tweet before the game. 1 sec.
Yep.
Sorry,
I
cough.
saw mid-game, if you want a Grandy stat, Celtics
Mhm.
last year, 17 double-digit deficits. This year, today, they fell down by 11, which was their 19th of the season, and they are halfway through.
Yeah, so the last now 12 home games, Celtics are 5-7.
Don't talk about home games.
In the previous 60, they were 54-6. So they have now lost more games in the last 12 at home than they did in the previous 60. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, I've said this a million times before, and I'm going to continue to say it because I believe it. I truly don't think home and away matters like significantly enough. Obviously, I think there is an impact. I do think
Clearly
the
it
crowd
does.
helps
You'd
it.
rather play away. They should tank.
I'm not saying like there is no impact, but I don't think they're losing should be excused or not excused or whatever by home or away. Like I just think they have not been good enough for long stretches this season.
These poor people that paid to get in today. Poor so they were a good crowd today too.
Alas.
Good crowd.
Yeah,
they deserve better.
It was a good crowd. They cheapened the prices for you.
Still didn't work.
Oh, man, Cornette was good, dude. Cornette's been really good. I don't know if you didn't get to watch the Mavs game, did you?
I didn't get to see any of it. No, I wish I did because they actually played well. Is it me?
I don't think he'll get
Maybe
a ton
it's
of credit.
me.
I thought. What is you? Oh yeah, true. You got to stop watching.
It's the
I think
LeBron
Luke was
tweet.
really good in that Mavs game, and I thought he was pretty good tonight too. Like I think he's quickly becoming like one of the most underrated players on this team. Man, Luke Cornette is so impactful. I think in his minutes.
Anytime they start him, he plays well. Simple as that. Like
Yes,
Luke Cornette is the math equation that every person does when they look at the per 36 stats for a guy that doesn't play very often. And they're like, wow, if this guy played 36 minutes tonight, he would average a double-double or he would do this.
yeah.
And like
What are his
Cornette is like the
Let's
actual guy, like that wasn't playing a lot of minutes, and they started playing him the actual minutes, and he delivers.
Yes, Cornette per 36 season is averaging 10.4 rebounds, 11.1 assists, 11.1 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 1.1 steals, 2.2 blocks. It's pretty good. It's pretty good per 36. Yeah, he's good. We talked about it briefly. Kristaps, dude, he's a cheat code. He just is. Like, and he got in foul trouble, so I think it mitigated his
giving him the ball.
Extended impact. Well, he sat a lot. He only played 25 minutes. Tatum played 40. Jaylen played 38. Like, he got in foul trouble, which wasn't great, but
had a big block at the
he was
end
a
of the
monster. He did. Who was it on? I forget.
Şengün.
Yes. He sent that SWAT. He sent it packing. Outside of Dillon Brooks, the Rockets shot, let's see, 3, 9, 16, 17, 18. Quick maths, 25, 26. Outside of Dillon Brooks, they shot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of 26 from 3. They shot 27% from 3 outside of Dillon Brooks.
The Celtics made 5 more threes than Dillon Brooks did today as a team.
Yeah. The Rockets, I mean, teams are keying on. Teams are chasing the Celtics off the three-point line and making it hard. So it's balance, man.
Also, later in this pod, when we do the NBA standings, I'm going to say, wouldn't it be cool if the Cavs lost and the Celtics won? Disregard.
Did the Cavs win and the Celtics lost?
Yep.
Celtics now the 4th best team in basketball. Rockets better winning percentage now.
I got swept today.
There you go. Did the Pistons lose to? Oh, the Pistons lost to the Cavs. I see.
Yep.
All right. Anything else, or do you want to wrap there?
Wrap it up. I got to drive home. You got to get the train.
Yes, sir. We'll throw it over to the rest of the pod. All right. Welcome back from Celtics Rockets. Hopefully it was a fun recap and not one that got too angry. I feel like we're encroaching upon that territory, but maybe we're safe now. But anyways, some updates about the Celtics sale. So bids were officially due for the Celtics sale. There were, I think 6 was the number. There were at least a few bids, and Bill Simmons on this podcast revealed that one of the bids, the only one he could figure out, was definitely there. Obviously, there was the Pags group, but one of them was Jeffrey Lurie, who is the owner of the Eagles. However, is from Massachusetts. He's a huge Celtics fan, grew up a Celtics fan. I think his first company I saw was called like Chestnut Hills Productions. He is born in Boston, Mass, went to Clark University in Worcester, went to BU, went to Brandeis, literally just like born and bred New England, which I don't know about you, Sam, but of all the possible options, obviously would still like Pags. This is a pretty damn good other option.
Yeah, it's somebody who has experience being an owner. Obviously, the Eagles are in the Super Bowl right now. They went to the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots. They went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, so they've been a team that's in contention for a while. Having somebody with that experience come in is very good. Having somebody who cares about the team, very good, very important. You know, they're going to put the effort in, actually try and win, not just buying it as an investment opportunity, even though it is that. But they really want to drive the team's success and be a part of the team's success. That's kind of what makes Wick a great owner. He's somebody who came in and bought the team in 2002. Since then, has really pushed to make the team great under Wick. I think they've only missed the playoffs 3-4 times, maybe. He's done a pretty good job of keeping them as a competitive team while also not like forcing dumb moves just to stay relevant. So I really hope that whoever the next owner is adopts that, because you look at new owners coming in and like Ishbia buying the Suns is just such an easy one to look at, and they trade for KD, which I mean it isn't like the worst move ever, but it's a very like big swing to take right off
I didn't
rip,
think that
trying to
was the
make a
problem,
splash, and
but
then they
yes.
go and get Brad Beal, and that really kind of puts them in a corner, and they can't really do a whole lot. You don't want somebody to come in and just be like, "We're gonna make all the moves. We're gonna be an exciting team." Like, trust whatever you have going on. You have to trust your personnel, and that'll be very important.
I agree. Yeah, and I mean, like you've mentioned, having somebody who is a Celtics fan who loves the Celtics, who grew up here, I feel like just adds an extra layer of this would be a very good thing. Um, so I obviously Philly and Boston owning teams in both cities might be a bit of a conflict of interest, but I think it's overwhelmingly a good thing that this could be a potential option to buy the Celtics because, I mean, he clearly likes the Celtics. And so having somebody with that investment would be a very, very good thing. Yeah. Anyways, next Celtics thing before we get to the email is Mr. Isaiah Thomas. And to put it in better terms than I could ever, he's back. Isaiah Thomas signed a contract with the Salt Lake City Stars, Utah Jazz G League affiliate. Played for them last season, averaged like 33 points on 14 threes a game, or 14 attempts a game, I should say, and shot like 45% from three before signing a contract for the rest of the year with the Suns, or 10 days and then a contract for the rest of the year. But IT, who is now 35 years old, is still trying his best to get back into the NBA. And this is his latest attempt. So we'll see how it goes this time around.
I mean, easy guy to root for. Obviously, played his ass off for the Celtics. I think there aren't really people around the NBA that are like, "Fuck this guy." Like, I hope he doesn't get back in. So it's something to just kind of keep your eyes on. I don't really know. The problem with today's NBA is I just don't know if there's a spot for him with the amount of mismatch hunting that happens on a regular basis. Like, there's not a spot on the floor for a guy that's 5'9" and is, not the athletic player that he used to be. Obviously dealing with the hip injury. Like, I mean, to be 5'9" and to do what he was doing, he wasn't like dunking over dudes or anything, but he was still like a freak athlete. Like, you still have to like be this specimen to be able to do that. And he's obviously hindered with hip problems now and hasn't been able to get back to that level of effectiveness. It's not worth having that on the floor. Like, you think about teams around the NBA right now. Like, we talk so much about like when the Dame trade was happening, my big thing was like, I don't want this guy. He's a defensive liability. He's getting older. He's not going to be able to move. And he's still this incredible offensive talent. But I think a lot of us now still look around and we're like, would you really want that contract on that guy? Now, Isaiah Thomas wouldn't be making whatever Dame's making. But just to put it in perspective, like even the top tier offensive players have that around them if they can't guard.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough, especially at 35, but I mean, I'm rooting for him. Like you said, I hope there's a team. I'll squish it immediately. I don't think the Celtics will be that team. I think if it was going to happen, it would have happened by
Me
now.
either.
But there's that. Anyways, before we jump to the emails, we want to take a second to tell you fine people about Gametime. Gametime is the best place to get all your ticketing for all your ticketing needs, I should say. NFL playoffs are going on right now. Obviously, there's only one game left, and might be a bit hard to get tickets for that last game that's left. But if you are a big spender and you would like to do that, you can use Gametime. Instead, though, let's look at an artist who I've been listening to. I've been listening to a lot of Gracie Abrams lately, Sam. Do you know who that is? Are you familiar?
Nope.
Well, phenomenal.
Before you even asked me, my instinct was to go, who?
Exactly. Gracie Abrams going to be at TD Garden this summer. Tickets are a bit out of my budget at looking like $600 a ticket. But however, if I did want to find the cheapest deal, I just find this little heat symbol, and it's the cheapest at $461 each, which is a little bit better. Best part about Gametime is you can see the view from your seats, and it changes. So instead of just a basketball game from your seat at TD Garden, it shows you the view for a concert at TD Garden. This is the floor seats. You can see some seats from the balcony too, which arguably a pretty good view as well. At least better bang for your buck there from 500 versus 630. So change that up there. Gametime also tells you how much you're paying with fees. So it is $461 to see Gracie Abrams, but that's with fees, Sam. So some other places could tell you a lower price, but then there's actually fees, and that's not a good
thing. Check out, you have your world put upside down.
I know. You don't want that, though. You don't want the fees. Never want the fees. Gametime curated deals make it easier to find the best deal. Super deal, best value for that event. Obviously, the hot deal is just the cheapest deal. You get seat views, on-time ticket delivery, lowest price guarantee, event cancellation, job loss protection, all this stuff. You get a lot of stuff, as much as you need with Gametime. It's the best place to buy your tickets. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code CLNS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply again. Create an account and redeem code CLNS for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, let's jump over to the email, see what you guys have to say to us. It's been a minute because we didn't record a full pod this last time, and Google signed me out of the email. So let me sign back in real quick. That's not very nice of Google. Hopefully I can remember the password. Oh dear. What is the password? Let's check your iPhone. Okay, you guys get to come along with me as I resign. No, I got it. It's fine. It'll take me 2 seconds. I just have to confirm on my phone. Yes, that's me. Thank you very much. Update your password. All right, let's go. Okay, so a few of you guys have emailed us since the last time. We still have Pete's email. Oh my gosh, a lot of you guys have emailed us since last time because we didn't get the chance. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna spam this PayPal email because I think we're trying to get scammed there. But RJ, this was a week ago, which tells you how long we've not read our email. Tuesday will be fun at work. Even folks, that was a solid win against an overmatched team. The Celtics played with focus for 24 seconds. The shot clock against the Warriors on both ends. So even if the result wasn't a basket or a stop, Boston didn't look like they were bored waiting for the playoffs. Also, I was happy that there wasn't a star of the game. Everyone pitched in, played team ball. Lots of fun watching the ball move. Congrats to Walsh and Shireman for solid end of the game minutes, including Baylor hitting a 3. Young man has gotten his body into NBA shape too. Let's see what the LA games bring. Be well, RJ. Been a while.
It has been a while.
Yeah,
we didn't even know how great Springer was going to be. Not even mentioning this email.
I know. 6 days ago, again, Philip said, fellas, on your Monday pod, Jack mentioned we will need to pay Pritchard more down the road. Meanwhile, I'm scratching my head when I look at our cap sheet. First, once this current iteration of the Celtics becomes too expensive, how do you see them controlling costs, dipping down to the first apron or all the way out of the tax entirely for a season? Second, what do you think the most likely scenario for the Celtics guards starting in bench 2 to 3 years from now? Lastly, do you see any world where a new owner might want to do a full rebuild? In my eyes, these seem especially hard decisions coming down the road. Best, Phil. Rebuild, no. You have Tatum, you have Jaylen, you're fine. And even if you like really want to go the extreme route, which I don't think will happen, you have Jason, you're fine, right? Like if you have that, you have a core. And as far as the guards, Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, figure it out from there. I think that's how it's going to look.
I also think that no new owner's going to want to come in and be known for tearing everything apart. I think we kind of talked about it earlier in the show, but more often than not, they actually come in like over eager to try and compete. So with the Celtics team that they're going to have in front of them, it's going to be a unique ownership situation. Like, I feel like a lot of owners don't sell like at the top, like what is happening with the Celtics.
Mhm.
So that new owner is going to have a pretty good team in front of them, and what they decide to do to try and sustain that is going to be up to them. And I think, the smartest thing to do would be to trust Brad. Brad clearly sounds,
It's
anytime he
pretty good.
talks about this with the media, he has a plan for sustainable success and wants to have the Celtics be at the top for as long as possible.
Yes, absolutely. I think they'll be okay. It'll be tricky, but I think Brad will find a way. 4 days ago, new Springer trade math from RJ. Morning, folks. To paraphrase Spider-Man, with great success comes greater scrutiny. In this case, we're talking about Jaylen Springer's performance and what the Celtics will do at the deadline. Again, the fast, scrappy Clippers. Springer demonstrated why the stay ready, or against them. Springer demonstrated why the stay ready guys stay ready. He got his call to step up, and he did. If you don't want to say he won the game against Celtics, safe to agree that he did everything humanly possible to prevent the loss, which means against the older, slower Lakers, he might be back on the bench. True. But that skill is set is available to Celtics right now. And while it might not produce dramatic results the rest of the season, is having a player that Joe is familiar with and trusts more valuable than trading Springer out for salary space. Again, I don't see Springer being a night in, night out contributor, but against teams who might feature quick, annoying guards on offense, hello, New York and Cleveland, he can be a fire extinguisher against a hot hand. All things to consider as we head towards February. Be well, RJ. Maybe. I mean, I remember when they traded for Springer last season, Brad was like, maybe we can play him in the playoffs, and then they didn't. But yeah, it could be worth having. It's just, are they looking to get another player for him? How much do they want to avoid salary cap issues, as we just outlined in another email? It's a tough decision.
I will say fire extinguisher is a great nickname. Awesome nickname. If that sticks. Very good job, RJ. In relation to Springer, though, I mean, I'm not selling any of my stock. Like, I've been the lone member of the Springer fan club for quite some time. I don't think it's that difficult to imagine him figuring out a small bit of his offensive game enough to where he's playable on that end of the floor. And if he does that, his defense is like pretty close to elite. Like, he is a motherfucker on the ball. He's a dog. Like RJ said, he can be somebody that you throw on some of these annoying guards on offense to give them a headache. That's very valuable. It's not nothing.
Yeah, no, it's not nothing. It's just their offense is so defined by very specific and very
There's also
important skill
part of
sets.
this, and it's not forever, but there's part of this, like, right now, that nobody's making any shots. So why not? You know what I'm
You trust
saying?
them. Yes, but that you trust the math that the shot will come back, and you would have to completely change the way you play offense if you do that, which I don't think they want to do.
Well, no, if that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying change the offense. I'm saying with the amount of error that we're all seeing happen, I'm not convinced that it gets much worse
Yeah,
if you
but
give him more opportunities to get comfortable out there.
I wholly agree that they should play Drayden Springer more. I don't want my argument to be
Welcome to the
misconstrued
team.
as that. Like, I think they should play him more. However, I think that argument is solely based on the results instead of the process, because the process of the offense completely changes with Springer versus a Derek White or Drew Holiday, because teams will literally just completely pack the paint and leave him wide open.
Oh, no, I understand that.
So
I'm just saying, like, and it is results based. This is a results based argument. Like, it is not working right now. It is going to get more difficult in the Stars if you put Springer in. You're absolutely right. But it also opens the door for him to get stress free, or like less tight, like, minutes where he feels like he has to prove himself in the short time he's on the floor if he's getting minutes at this down point. Like, you're understanding that right now the shooting is not going well. Springer is not going to be the solvent for that, but it's not going well right now. It can't get much worse. Why not give this guy some runs so he's more comfortable out there and not tense when he actually gets in the game?
listen, I'm in. I'm fine with giving Springer a run. I think it's going to hurt the offense. It just will, which is fine. And you can sacrifice some offense for defense. I think that's completely fine. But
Yeah, I don't disagree. They're going to get, the ball handlers will get blitzed.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it's gonna be very interesting looking. But like I said, I'm fine with it. It's just, you have to understand what it's going to look like with him on the floor versus without him on the floor. Anyways, thank you, RJ. Next email we got. RJ again, big picture view. Opponent's 3-point field goal percentage evening, folks. Well, a hot Springer fourth quarter couldn't bail the C's out against the Lakers, and that's all I will say about that game. Let's look at bigger picture and find the C's magic number. That number is the opposition's shooting percentage on threes. Through 44 games, Celtics opponents are shooting 34.8% on their threes, which is tied for fifth best in the league. As I write this without Thursday's game data. However, their median opponent field goal percentage is the median. The median is the number where half of the data points are above that number and half are below it. It's 36.55. In the 22 games where the Celtics held the teams to 35.5% or lower, they are 18-4. Let go of the rope and allow 36.6 or better, they are 13-9. To be overly dramatic, 1/10%, that 1/10 of 1% on 3-point field goal percentage is the difference between 82 or 81.8% winning percentage, 67 wins that are 82, and a 59.1, 48 wins. So only one of those belongs to a championship caliber team. Be well, RJ. Yeah, I mean, I'll say one thing is they're doing a pretty good job holding. Like, if they can keep teams half the games to below 36%, which is a pretty average mark, that's good. 2, they need to be a little bit better when the opponents do shoot well from 3, but also 3, like, they're the fifth best in the league at holding teams to bad 3-point percentage. Like, this just shows you make more threes, win games. Like, that's kind of the Celtics' whole philosophy.
Yeah. I don't want to talk about I think there should be more to winning games than will the threes go in? Yes, no, yes, win, no, lose. But that's where we're at right now.
It's the NBA, man. That's how today's NBA is for a lot of it. Last email, RJ. Celtics fandom malaise from a modern phenomenon. Even folks, let me take a minute to sound like an old guy as I blame everyone's vague or not so vague distrust of the C's 32-14 record on the internet. Really and truly, our distress is fueled by instant access to all things Celtics 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Want to watch a video of Jaylen Brown's left-handed turnovers? It's a YouTube search away. Compare that to compare this year's percentage on wide open threes to last year's. There's basketball metrics site for that, and we can share our findings just as rapidly via Blue Sky Discord, Celtics blog, or even an email to a podcast. So watch the games. Thank you, Internet, for that. Enjoy the games, and then let's let go of the game and enjoy the next one. It's both healthier and brings the enjoyment back to our basketball viewing hobby. Be well, RJ. See, I agree with you, RJ. But if people follow that philosophy, no one will watch us. So don't do that and watch the show instead.
Always watch the show.
Always watch the show. All right. NBA standings check-in time. Let's jump right into it. I can already tell it's going to be a long pod. Actually, there's not too much NBA stuff.
There's not many rumors today.
Yeah, maybe not. Guess what, Sam? Cavs are still in first place in the Eastern Conference. Although they are falling off. The Cavs have lost 3 games in a row. Celtics have not lost 3 games in a row all season. Cavs have lost 3 now. I think they've lost multiple games in a row 3 times this year, as in 2 games in a row 3 different times. Celtics only done it once. Also, this point differential right here that the Cavs were killing the Celtics on, 9.4 per game versus Celtics 9 per game. So things are getting a lot closer. And for what it's worth, the difference right now is the Celtics defense is being better, which is ironic. Like, Celtics defense is allowing 4.3 less points per game. It's just that their offense is scoring 4.7 less than the Cavs. So, Cavs 36-9, 4.5 games ahead of the Celtics, who are 32-14. Knicks are also at 30 wins, 6.5, only 2 games behind the Celtics. Knicks have been playing pretty well lately. Bucks have figured things out. They're comfortably above 500 now. Then you got the Pacers and the Pistons, who are in 6th. Magic, Heat, Hawks, Bulls rounding out the play-in. The Sixers, who still can't figure their shit out. And then Nets, Raptors, Hornets, Wizards rounding at the bottom. Wizards, who are a pristine 6-38.
13 in a row. You're on. Officially on watch. Watch.
They are on Pistons watch.
So big takeaway from the standings update, since we haven't done one of these in a while. Celtics are creeping up on the Cavs. Like, we've talked a lot about it this year. Jack, you've talked about it, whereas the Celtics are getting criticized because the Cavs are really good. Meanwhile,
yes,
the Celtics are gaining on them. I think it was 6.5, 7.5 at one point. Mm-hmm. Now they're only 4.5 back. Pistons play the Cavs tonight. Pistons are a team that has cooled off a little bit, but they've still been playing pretty good ball as of late. It's not unfathomable that they could beat the Cavs and the Celtics could beat the Rockets. By the time you're listening to this pod, it could be 3.5. It also could be 5.5. Celtics could piss all of us off. They do have to play at home today, which is their toughest battle. They can't play at home. They suck at home. But nonetheless, they've made ground on the Cavs. As far as the rest of the Eastern Conference goes, the Sixers have just been I think it's time to punt if you're the Sixers. The only way you keep your first round pick is if it's in the top 7. You're not a team that's looking like it's ready to compete this year. Good luck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tough spot to be in for the Sixers. I mean, like, I know coming into the year, we all talked about, like, oh my God, and B, like, this bullshit. They have objectively just gotten really unlucky. Like the injuries have been brutal for them. So it's a mix. But Western Conference, Thunder officially own the best record in the league, 37-8. Rockets and Grizzlies have both won 30 games as well. Grizzlies at 31, but below. Both 6.5 games back of the Thunder. Then you got the Nuggets, Lakers, Clippers in that top 6. Wolves, Suns, Mavs, Kings rounding out the play-in right now. Then Warriors, Spurs, who are both falling a little bit behind right now. Blazers are in there, as well as the Pelicans and Jazz, who are all still better than the Wizards, to their credit.
That is a good achievement. Better than the Wizards.
At this point, it's just don't be that team.
If the Celtics lose tonight, we're going to talk about, well, they are better than the Wizards.
They are better than the Wizards.
That can be
always some solace. Always some solace to be taken in being better than the Wizards.
You just don't want to be that team. You don't want to be that team.
Next NBA thing. The Bulls are apparently in on Bradley Beal. Good for the Bulls, man. This is from Brian Windhorst. Said they're absolutely involved in conversations with the Suns involving a possible Jimmy Butler trade. Not that Jimmy Butler would end up in Chicago. We're talking about Bradley Beal. The Bulls and Suns have talked about the concept of Beal ending up in Chicago. I'm not sure not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's close. Obviously, Beal has no trade clause. Bulls making everyone. Oh, you put this in. It's also came out today that the Bulls are making everyone available outside of Modest Buzelis. Listen, I don't think it's crazy for the Bulls to be on Bradley Beal. I don't think it's crazy at all. Because
you think about it, because they're going to get some assets back.
I think it's a twofold thing. As good as Zach LaVine has been this season, and he's legitimately been like probably playing at an all-star level.
Efficient.
He's been an all-star this season. He's not going to be, but he's playing at an all-star level. And yet they've been unable to trade him for his contract. Trading Zach LaVine is probably neutral value. I would argue a little bit better value because the contract that we'll call neutral value. Taking Bradley Beal on is going to get you value. If you're the Bulls, you not only get worse, which at this point is probably good for you by trading Zach LaVine for Bradley Beal, you can also get value back, right? And if you're the Heat, I don't love a Zach LaVine, Tyler Hero backcourt. I don't. But if you were trying to stay competitive, and a big part of your problem is our offense has been pretty bad, pretty okay guy to look at to improve your offense. So if you're talking about you can get a first-round pick from the Suns to take Beal, maybe get a couple seconds from the Heat from Zach LaVine or whatever. You send Zach LaVine to the Bulls, to the Heat, take on Bradley Beal, maybe get like a couple seconds from the Suns as well. Suns get Jimmy Butler, Heat get Zach LaVine, and I don't know, maybe like fucking Torrey Craig or Javon Carter or something. You can dump somebody else on them too. I'm okay with that if I'm Chicago.
Yeah. I don't think I would be able to get past the no trade clause. I just wouldn't. You're stuck with that until his contract's expired, and it's only going to get worse. It's not like he's going to join the Bulls and become this incredible player. Now, I know the Bulls are also like not trying to compete at the moment. They've been bad for a while. Like, how many times are you just going to punt and be like, all right, like we're going to start?
But not bad enough. But they haven't punted. That's the problem. They have not punted. They have been in the play-in every year. They've been in the play-in every single year.
Right middle of the pack. Yes. This would be actually a good punt move by the Bulls.
They have not punted. That's the problem.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. It is the problem. They're like, let's go get Vucevic and Zach LaVine. We'll be good.
Yeah. The Chicago Bulls.
DeRozan.
I know. Let me take a look at this. The Chicago Bulls, for the past X amount of years, have been, can I see franchise? Here we go. Have been 39-43, 40-42, 46-36, 31-41. That's awful. Like the last time the Bulls had a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. Let's see. They picked 11th this past year. They didn't have a first in 2023 because of the Franz Wagner Nikola Vucevic trade. They picked 18th in 2022. They didn't have a first round pick in 2021. They picked 4th in 2020, Patrick Williams. And before that,
never mind.
The last time they had a top 5 pick was Derrick Rose.
See, I forgot about Patrick Williams. I was about to be like, I don't think they've had one since Derrick Rose.
Because he's ass. That's why you forgot about Patrick.
They
Williams.
missed
They're
on
trying to trade him. He's dog shit.
That draft was a crapshoot with COVID though, because those kids didn't get to play as much. Like there was no tournament, there was no conference tournaments.
Oh, they still missed so hard. They still whiffed so bad. That draft was pretty shitty. Like a lot of the picks were like later picks.
Like that was the Ant draft. So it went Ant, which was a good pick. And it went Wiseman, which didn't work out. And it went LaMelo, which has been fine, but
he's
probably
fine. He's a good player.
Better.
Yep.
And then Halliburton was in that class, right?
Halliburton was 12.
Yeah.
Aaron Nesmith was 14.
Nesmith.
Pritchard was 26.
Yeah, and then they picked
Emmanuel Quickly was 25. Desmond Baines 30.
It's a maxi draft too, right?
Pretty bad draft. No. He was the year before, I think. Oh, no, year after. Oh wow, he's 2021. You're right. No, when the hell was Maxi drafted? Why can't I find this? Maxi was drafted 2020. Wait, it is the Maxi draft. Am I blind? Yeah, no, it is a Maxi draft. Yeah, he's just 21. I'm just stupid. Yeah, 100%.
Because I think that was part of. I think the Celtics originally had that pick or something. Like they.
Yes, or no, they had. I remember him talking about it. There was something where they were maybe going to take him, but they didn't, and then some shit happened. Yes,
correct. So, like, you're right. Like that was. I mean, the draft was just a mess. But anyways, the Bulls.
Yes.
I guess getting Brad Beal would be a great, like, complete demolition of the team.
Yeah, yeah. And you're going to be stuck with a big contract for that many years, probably anyway. So you might as well be worse while you do it and get some draft assets.
Trying to get young talent on cheap contracts.
Exactly. All right. Next thing is what is the next thing? Why am I brain farting?
Wemby.
AD Wemby. Yes. So Anthony Davis thinks that he should win Defensive Player of the Year. Or he's salty that he's never won a Defensive Player of the Year, which fair. I think it's pretty similar to the Eric Spoelstra has never won a Coach of the Year, right? Like I think Anthony Davis has probably been the best defender a lot of these seasons. I think he's an incredible defender. I think he's
in the conversation guy.
Yeah, probably. Him and Bam. I mean, him and Bam have been like two of the top 3 defenders in each of the last X amount of years. Like I think it's a pretty easy argument to say AD and Bam should have won it instead of Rudy some of these years, right?
Sure.
But now he's saying that the award is being pushed for Wemby. Like he did an interview, and Sam Quinn is
a lot of whining from those guys recently.
He said, I feel like the narrative is being pushed for Wemby to get it. And Sam Quinn replied with, it's not a narrative. Wemby is better. Sam Quinn of CBS posts blocks per game. Wemby 3.9 to AD's 2.2. Steals per game is Wemby's 1.1 to Davis's 1.3. So he's better. Contested shots per game is Wemby's 3.1 to AD's. This says 10. So I don't know if I think there's a typo here because 10 is wild.
Also, so I don't know how you can have 4 blocks per game but only contest 3.1 shots a game.
Yeah,
does that just mean you didn't block it?
This might be like, I think this is just on top of the blocks, which is crazy. And this might be 1.0. I don't know because he said it would be 1. Deflections per game, Wemby has 10.9 to AD's 2.3. Field goals percentage allowed within 6 feet is 49.8% for Wemby, 54.3 for AD. Defensive win share is 2.5, 2.3 in favor of Wemby. Defensive box plus minus 3.2 to 1.2. Defensive estimated plus minus 3.0 to 1.7. Defensive LeBron 2.38 versus 1.43. And team defensive rating on off is plus 6.7 Wemby, minus 0.3 for AD. It's not close. It's not close between the two. Wemby has been the best defender in the NBA this season. He's going to be the best defender in the NBA for years and years and years. It's just how it is.
That whole Anthony Davis interview with Shams was just him whining.
I didn't watch, but yes.
There was this, and then there was also like a reiteration of our team doesn't have enough talent. Like we need more help. So the whole purpose of him talking to Shams was to fucking go out there and cry. I think he had, like, you put it on the sheet. Like, sure, like, do you think you should have won a defensive player of the year in the past?
Sure.
Very, very fair. Like, yeah, you can hate French guys all you want, but Wemby is good. Like,
Yeah.
he's doing things that have like never been done before. He's putting up Wilt type numbers with shots blocked. Like, he is a genetic freak. Does he have an advantage? Like, does Anthony Davis want them to like scale the stats to match like the physical gifts that they were given? Like, poor Anthony Davis is only 6'11". He can't hold a candle to Wemby at 7'4". He's objectively better than him. I mean, the tweet you showed is absolutely correct. Every day you go on Twitter and you see Wemby did this, Wemby did that. Are people talking a lot about it? Yeah, because it's rare. We haven't seen it before. I don't think anyone's pushing anything. It's just this guy's blocking 4 shots a game.
It's just how it is, man. Sorry, AD. It's just how it is, bro. But yeah, that's been something. All right, Sam, Rat List, what do you got?
So I complain about this every year. Rat List is the people at this event I was working this weekend. So twice a year now, I will go and work at these convention center shows for my company that I work for. We have a booth there. And some people come up like they have questions about the company. They know about us. They want to learn more. They're very inquisitive. They have good questions. There are these other people that come up to you looking like rabid zombies. They have this look in their eye as they come to your booth to scavenge whatever free thing you're giving away. Our company does this thing. We're a travel company, so we show like different things that people do when they go on vacation with us. One of the things we did was give away these like samples of spices. We had a bowl of ginger, a bowl of turmeric, we had a bowl of cinnamon, we had a bowl of black pepper. We bought all of these spices on the internet. They are nothing special. If you go to your local supermarket, you can buy them there. They will be there, I promise. These people come up, again, looking like fucking starved children, and we're giving out 2 per person. And they're first, I can't get mad at them for all asking the same question because it's not like they're like sitting there all day listening, but they're like, where are they from? Where are they from? Where are they from? And then they ask you like what you can do with it. Like, dude, it's black pepper. You could put pepper on anything.
Wait, you're a travel company. Why is this?
Because
what does
like
this have to
if
do?
you go like to a certain destination, like you'll see a market for spices. So it's meant to like be like a display of what you would see if you went on vacation.
Can I say something bold?
Basically, what's this?
That's fucking stupid.
It's not stupid because it brings people to the booth. It in the context, like it makes sense, but it is like an above and beyond idea. It's more than just saying we go to this place.
You've got like fucking spice cabinet on a
rightfully
table.
come up confused and be like,
what the hell is happening?
Spice
Yes.
company. So I got into it with this guy because he comes up, he's got his media badge on. There are some people that are media. It's also like quotations media. It's like people that like have like a YouTube channel, us. We're technically media, but we're not media through YouTube for what it's worth. And like all these different things that are like aren't the traditional media outlets that I'm looking to interact with. So this guy comes up to me. He's like, "Oh, like, can I have black pepper and turmeric?" I'm like, "Sure." And he says, "And ginger and cinnamon." And I'm like, "We're doing 2 per person." We have this same interaction maybe 3 times back to back to back before I'm like, "Pick 2." He's like, "Okay, I'll have black pepper and turmeric." I put them in the bags for him. I give him the bags. And then he says again, "Can I have ginger and cinnamon?" I said 2 per person. He says, "But I'm media." I said, "Media, traveler, travel advisor, all person, 2 per person, leave." And I told him to get
Did you
lost.
say
Like,
leave?
yeah, I was like, leave. Like, I was like about to call the security over. This guy wouldn't leave me alone. He's like trying to go back and forth with me. Go to the fucking store and buy the cinnamon. You can get cinnamon at Stop and Shop. Go. It's not like you've never heard of this before. Like, they have this everywhere. You get cinnamon in your coffee if you go to Starbucks. They have the cinnamon shaker at Starbucks that you can put the cinnamon in the coffee. People, these are the worst people on the planet. Worse than the LeBron people.
Wow, that's strong hatred. Worse than LeBron people is crazy from you.
It's just they all got the look in their eye.
They want free stuff. You should respect that. Well, not the badgering part, but like the wanting free stuff, I can understand.
I understand it, but it's like annoying at the same time.
Well, yeah, because it's your job. No, I get it. No, I know. I feel. So I have to rat list. I need to contextualize this rat list because, like, I don't want it to come across as ungratefulness. So I went to get my haircut the other day, right? And the people were very nice. Sam can attest. Outside of the podcast and in general stuff, I'm a pretty quiet person.
Yes.
These people at the Supercuts just wanted to talk all day. I'm like, oh, fuck, okay. And like, it's like when you get in an Uber and you just want to chill, but the Uber driver tries to make conversation. You're like, okay, I gotta talk. And I will say, so those who've watched the show for a long time know I used to not have facial hair. Right? I used to not be able to grow facial hair. This is like weird, right? I don't know how old they thought I was, but at one point in our conversation, they go, "Do you have kids?" I'm like, "Nope, do not have kids.
Yeah.
Do not." And I was like, "It's Sunday," and then I don't know how it came up. Like my job came up, right? And they're like, "Oh, cool." I'm like, "Yeah, it's cool." And they're like, "You're like, I think Carrie Bradshaw," and I'm going along with it, right? She is apparently from Sex and the City, and I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, "Yeah, that's me."
Yep.
But then they took that as I knew what they were talking about. So they go, let me Google this because I need to check. Sex and the City characters. They go, oh, who do you think you're most like? Carrie, Samantha, Charlotte, or Miranda? And I no, not even like a little bit of an idea of what they're talking about in the moment. And
I got a story to tell you after we're done with this.
They're just like, oh, I'm like, I think you're right. Yeah, Carrie, because like that was the only one they said that. They're like, oh, are you sure she's pretty emotional? I'm like, dude, like, I don't fucking know. I'm sorry, I don't know. And I was like, oh, a mix of all of them. Like I'm just like trying desperately to find a way to get like any relevant topic in this conversation. But they're very nice, good haircut. But it was like, oh my god, I don't know what I'm talking about. I was so out of my depth.
That would piss me off so much. I hate conversations that you're like trying to get out of.
I was just lost. I didn't know what was happening.
They're just, and anytime like I'm having a work conversation, I got nothing for them.
Yeah, I just
like I went to a work dinner on Saturday and like they were talking about, we ended up like talking about like COVID, whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, like my one contribution the whole night was like, oh yeah, like I remember like when like all the like we started to recover. First thing I was like, this is great. Basketball is gonna be back. That was the number one for me. Is like Celtics will start playing again. This is the best.
Jesus Christ.
Ratlist is having to saran wrap the packages that our supplies were in. So after this show is over, we have to pack up our things and get them shipped to wherever they're going next. When you put them in all their boxes, they give you a sheet of wood, a pallet, to put them on. And in order to make sure everything gets shipped properly, you have to saran wrap it. To saran wrap all of the boxes, all of the packages, you have to run around in a big circle numerous times. So I did 3 of these. I was pouring sweat. I was lightheaded. It was basically the equivalent of like taking the baseball bat and spinning around and then trying to like move, but you did that for like 5 minutes, like at a time. That's how bad it was. And you have to like change levels too, because like obviously like the stack of boxes goes from like the ground up. So I got to get low, get high. Whew. What a like task that is. I was
getting a workout in.
I literally was sweating. Like I had like sweat pouring off my chin.
Yeah, that's awful. That's no fun. I don't think I have anything else. I think I'm chilling.
Ratless, these fucking people that keep emailing us that aren't listeners to the show, the spam emails.
Oh, did we get another?
We just got another one.
MD Rana. Great. Cool. Anyways, appreciate y'all for tuning in. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to Bout Them Celtics here, Spotify, Apple, all that good stuff, and I'll let Sam wrap it up.
Yeah, thank you very much for listening and watching. Make sure you subscribe, leave a like, comment. Tell us what you thought of Celtics Rockets. Again, hit the bell. Jack and I here every single day. New pods drop Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday. Game recaps are up the morning after each game. And other videos are on the channel in between to keep you up to date with all things Celtics. We're also doing streams. We're doing pregame a half hour before every single game. Come hang out. It's a ton of fun. You can find all pods and recaps up on Spotify and Apple. If you give us a follow there, those will go right into your feed. You can email us, hbtcpod@gmail.com. We read all of your emails on the show. Don't email us if you're a spam person. Fuck off. You can, again, hbtcpod@gmail.com. The socials are at How About Them C's for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Facebook's the name of the pod. All streams are there. They're on YouTube. They're on Twitter. Jack's Twitter is Jack's Money NBA. Mine's at Sam LaFrance NBA. That's it for us. Bye.